WINCANTON. Small matter for the Healthy Pets Somerset National. Over £26,000 on offer. 22 fences to be negotiated by the 9 runners. Let's have a look at the betting. Wandering Star imagine me towards the head for Kimberley and Mikey Hamill. He's not. He's 15-2. He's very easy to back. Karina's under to 30 favourite. Potter's Corner 7-2. Perform 5-1 as we head back to Rachel and Jonathan on track.
Welcome back for the big one here, the Healthy Pet Somerset National Handicap Chase for 130 the field, and Geraint heading them for Jeremy Scott. 3 tries over fences, 3 seconds, a few mistakes early at Exeter, but we saw the winner of that race really frank the form, Jonathan.
Yeah, well, he's run into Glenn Forza and the 2 Amigos, who have both won since off much higher marks, so he deserves a change of luck. And despite the mistakes you referred to, he travelled well through the Exeter race. That was 3-6, so we're not going to have any trouble staying nearly 3-3 this afternoon, and he's probably just about the right favourite.
I quite like him, and even though he did make those mistakes earlier, I thought he kind of got into a good rhythm after that. It didn't seem to sort of knock the stuffing out of him, so really likeable type. We've got Wandering Star, who we spoke about earlier, for Kim Bailey, who will be up in distance, and a nice third of Kempton behind. A couple of nice, decent horses there.
Wandering Star, yes, that was a really good effort at Kempton, because he's taken a couple of batterings from the handicapper off the back of wide margin wins at Bangor, and yet he proved he was more or less up to it at Kempton. Ground won't be a problem, and you can make a link between him and Gunfleet through their running against Just the Sting, and they come out virtually the same horse on that.
And from the Vale of Glamorgan, Christian Williams has got Potter's Corner. Surprised to see him win so well last time out. He made all and he stayed on really well.
Yes, he'd shown as if he might be doing a bit better at Sandown, when, even though he pulled up there and then got into a proper rhythm out in front here on Boxing Day.
Will they do that today?
Well, I'm sure they might try to do that. I mean, this is a much stiffer race. He's closely matched with Perform on that run. Again, Perform travelled well. He's yet to win over fences and has had a very, very light career, but I think they have similar chances. I think this is a deeper race than the one they ran in on Boxing Day.
Well, Perform will be looking to reverse the form. I don't think everything went well for him. I think he was hampered a couple of times, and in the end he was in behind Potter's Corner. Easy enough to back is Emma Lavelle's charge, Gunfleet. Emma has had a fine season already, and just a couple of starts over fences.
Well, he finished in front, obviously in quite a long way in front of Perform and Potter's Corner at Exeter when he was second to Just the Sting, and then was really up against it in top novice company at Cheltenham. Was left floundering, nearly snatched second. This is a more realistic option.
Looking to Len Brennan, who was third to OK Corral in a novice chase at Plumpton, and looking to his runs over fences. He's only had 4 of them, 2 over fences, so there's likely to be an awful lot more to come from Len Brennan.
Well, this is the sort of interesting one in many ways, isn't it? I mean, yes, he was flattered at Plumpton, but how flattered? I mean, he's not beaten that far by OK Corral and Impulsive Star, who have franked the forward no ends up at Warwick on Saturday. The handicap has put him up £5 in future, so he's effectively £5 well in today. He's not the biggest, but he's only got 10.9 to carry, and even if you allowed a factor of flatteredness at Plumpton.
Is there such a thing?
Well, how much you allow for it. A 10-1's I mean, I thought, as I say, I think Geraint's the right favourite, but if I was a bookmaker, I wouldn't be standing there offering 10-1 Len Brennan.
Very unexposed type indeed. So ready to go, folks, for the Somerset National of 2019. Let's get across and join Richard Hoyles.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're getting them walking vaguely, trying to work out whether they're going in the right direction or the wrong direction at the moment, actually. The right direction, so they're heading towards the starter. There's one to collect who's not with them at the moment, and that's Dancing Shadow. You'll see him. That's the reason he was confused, because he was going the other way to all of the other runners, but they've collected him now. So not too much longer. The Healthy Pets Somerset National Handicap Chase starts down the side of the racecourse, the cross fence being the first of the 22 they take in all. And the runners gradually edging towards the starter. about to be sent on their way for this feature race of the afternoon. And they're off. Like the sound, one of the first to show as they head towards the first of 22. Belmont is also in a handy position with Potter's Corner in that little wave, along with Garan, as we reach fence number 1. Garan by no means the most fluent there, just dropped himself back to midfield as the runners take the turn. Len Brennan was a little bit awkward towards the back as well. So settling down, it's like the sound as they turn for home for the first time with Belmont. Wider out is Dancing Shadow. Front rank as well for Potter's Corner, and just behind those Wandering Star. Garan and Performer the next two, and held up early on we have Len Brennan as they rise at the second, and also Gunfleet. Garan hasn't jumped the first two overly well, and having jumped off handily, finds himself back in 7th place and just briefly pushed along as out in front Like the Sound leads Potter's Corner. A Belmont on the inside of Wandering Star as they take the middle one up the home straight with Dancing Shadow. Perform just brushed through the top alongside Garan, who's still well in touch despite being in 7th place as they race towards fence number 4. There's also an awful long way to go here as Potter's Corner jumps himself to the lead. The back two are Gunfleet and Len Brennan. So pace just steadies as they make their way past us with this long journey ahead of them, Like the Sound leading narrowly from Potter's Corner alongside. Dancing Shadow, Wandering Star and Belmont make up the next wave. They're about a length and a half behind the front pair. Perform comes next on the inside of Garan, then Gunfleet, and still last of all is Len Brennan. So towards the water jump on the side of the racecourse, and out in front, Potter's Corner disputing the running still with Like the Sound as they all take the water jump. Belmont corners in 3rd place. In 4th at this stage is Wandering Star. Towards the inside, racing in 5th, is Perform with Dancing Shadow. They're tightly bunched, like White Garain with Gunfleet. Len Brennan is the back marker as they reach the first down the back on this first full circuit. And again, Garain was a little slower, lost only another half length. Garain and Len Brennan, the two jumping just early on, is costing them small amounts of ground, but over such a large volume of fences that can all add up as we race towards the first of the open ditches. Potter's Corner over in the lead, all jumped that fine. Like the Sound is in 2nd place, very little between the pair, about a length or so now. Wandering Star, Dancing Shadow and Belmont have always been the horses that have made up the second wave as we reach another plain one. Potter's Corner getting to a rhythm now. Perform comes next. Gunfleet jumped out to the left slightly, and Garain and Len Brennan are still towards the back. Last in the back straight is the second of the ditches. Potter's Corner over in front. From in 2nd place, Like the Sound. Still only a neck or so in between them. In 3rd, on the outside, making some progress, Garain, beginning to warm up with Wandering Star. Wandering Star takes 3rd by virtue of going the shorter way round the turn. Garain's actually posted 4 wide, having made his ground, exiting the back straight. Belmont comes next ahead of Perform, then Gunfleet, as Dancing Shadow is still there on the outside as well. So pretty well grouped. Len Brennan's the one that's off the back end by a couple of lengths, as they all stepped over that. And a reminder for Gunfleet, one from the tail. Gunfleet receiving a reminder, and he has Len Brennan behind, but not finding much of a rhythm. And Dancing Shadow just hitting a bit of a flat spot as well. So over a circuit completed now, just heading towards halfway. Potter's Corner and Like the Sound continue to dispute the running. 3rd place for Wandering Star. Then on the inside we have Belmont. Garain, having made ground, is still amongst them, but they're interchanging positions in midfield. Perform, Dancing Shadow moving forward again, as Gunfleet's in 8th, but only about 4 lengths off the lead, and a couple of lengths to Len Brennan. Potter's Corner got to the other side well enough. Gunfleet wasn't great there either, and receives another reminder. So just over a circuit to travel, we're passing halfway in the Healthy Pets Somerset National. Potter's Corner over in the lead from Like the Sound in 2nd place. Perform is in 3rd, Belmont 4th, but they're tightly bunched. Garain moving up on the outside, but did have to be ridden to improve, now sits in 3rd. Wandering Star pushed along in 6th, Gunfleet next, then Dancing Shadow, and Len Brennan, who despite some novice jumping is still in touch at the back of the field as they head out on their final circuit. Potter's Corner leading from in 2nd place, Like the Sound. Garain up on the outside as they head towards the water jump. Belmont still right there on the inner. Perform comes next from Wandering Star and Gunfleet as they take the water jump. Dancing Shadows dropped himself to the back of the field and is now being ridden along. Len Brennan's made a place, but is still only in 8th as they turn down the back. Potter's Corner leading by a length from Like the Sound. Geraint getting involved now up on the outside, is in 3rd place within a length or so of the lead as they take the first down the back. Belmont comes next, and Perform complete that leading group of 5, and a little bit of a gap to the other quartet, although trying to improve. Wandering Star, having hit that 1 pace flat spot, is still in touch with the front 5 in 6th place. Racing over the next, Potter's Corner's got into a nice rhythm out in front, and along with Like the Sound continue to press on. Geraint in 3rd but still pushed along. Then Perform. Balmont's now under pressure towards the inside. On the outside trying to improve is Wandering Star again, but he's still only in about 6th place. One that is making progress is Len Brennan. From the back of the field, gradually getting into contention, has jumped through into midfield. Dancing Shadows struggling. Belmont's lost a lot of ground as Potter's Corner and Like the Sound take the last over on the far side. Potter's Corner by a length from Like the Sound. In 3rd place, Wandering Star sticking on. Then Perform. Len Brennan going for a gap up the inside. Not too much between 3rd, 4th and 5th. Then Geraint, and these 6 are now beginning to pull away from the others as they move down the side of the course towards the cross fence 4 from the finish. Potter's Corner and Like the Sound. In 3rd place is Perform on the inside of Wandering Star as the 2 leaders fly the cross fence and increasing the advantage over the rest of the field. Potter's Corner turning for Tom O'Brien. Like the Sound for Harry Bannister still travels well at a big price. They're away from Perform, who's moved through into 3rd place. Then Len Brennan and Wandering Star. 3 plain fences. The 2 leaders still clear of the remainder at the moment. Potter's Corner on the left-hand side. Like the Sound on the right. Potter's Corner puts down, and Like the Sound gets away from the 3rd last better. Perform is in 3rd, a remote one though with Len Brennan. Down towards the 2nd last. Like the Sound for Harry Bannister. Potter's Corner having to be switched towards the stand side. 2 from the finish, and again makes a horrendous mistake and comes down. Potter's Corner, when still in with a chance, came down at the 2nd last. Horse is up okay. Like the Sound is left clear on the run down towards the final fence. Like the Sound over the last in the Somerset National and is clear. Perform and Len Brennan, a remote 2nd and 3rd. Dancing Shadow is running on through beaten horses from a long way back. Race was still possibly in the balance when Potter's Corner came down, but Like the Sound at a big price wins for Charlie Mann and Harry Bannister, 2nd to Len Brennan, who beats Perform, who was 3rd. Dancing Shadow through beaten horses in 4th, then Wandering Star. Only 5 of them finished. Just to confirm, Potter's Corner is up okay, and so is his rider.
Well, that is great to see Tom O'Brien walking away and Potter's Corner up okay. Sadly, we were denied what could have been a very exciting finish, but congratulations to Harry Bannister, Charlie Mann, Like the Sound, landing the Somerset National. Charlie Mann has been among the winners recently, tongue-tie on, but it seemed like it was just very early days for this horse. Always going to be versatile in terms of ground, but he's really put it up, hasn't he?
Well, when he won twice over hurdles, he made the running, and when Potter's Corner won here on Boxing Day, he made the running, and basically until Potter's Corner has departed the race, they've been the first 2 throughout. They've got into a much happier rhythm than seemingly everything else in behind, and it was fairly clear from leaving the back straight that they were the 2 that were likely to fight it out, barring any mishaps.
But that was not going to be the case, because of course we had not just one twist, but we had 2 final twists, and sadly we lost Potter's Corner at that final fence. To see them turning in, both still travelling.
Oh yes, both. It is all in, particularly in staying handicap chases, just getting into a good rhythm. Meeting the fence is fine, and that's not what, say, Geraint did. Wandering Star was up and down the field a bit. Len Brennan's run very well to finish 2nd, but he didn't jump well enough early on, and so the effort when it's come has seen him finish a fortunate 2nd, but never a threat either.
So here we go, we're getting towards the business end of the race, and just still going at their rhythm and then just put down.
Yes, I mean they were taking off level, but that mistake by Potter's Corner has handed a length plus. It's still not over with coming to 2 out. You think, well, it's not much more than a length, so you're still having a go. But
There was a rally there. There definitely was.
Yeah, there's definitely having another go. So, like the sound from there on, is just left in splendid isolation.
Yes, and wins by a country mile, and as you'll see, the other two battling it out there close in behind, but it was Len Brennan who's picked up second in the end, but like the sound, has scored in, as Jonathan said, splendid isolation to land the feature race here at Wincanton today.
He had good performance by the winner. Like the sound. Say Charlie Mann, a few decent winners of late. Harry Bannister has been associated with the art for many a year. Has seemed a good effect once again as he makes his way into the winner's enclosure. We'll tally up the result for the Healthy Pets Somerset National. 16-1. Then Brennan was second at 10-1. Performed third at 5-1.